Connecting to the internet.
Internet.
Networking software.
World Wide Web thing on a computer today.
Computer.
Net Surfer Pro.
All right, we're finally here. Season 3, year 4 or so, 3.5.
Yeah.
And we are starting off this new season of the new year with a bit of maybe one of the biggest things we've ever covered.
Yeah, this was a bit of an impromptu thing, but this I'm genuinely super excited for this.
This is a very avant-garde episode for us, kind of a new paradigm we're implementing here.
Yeah, this might expand what Net Surfer Pro can be about, but yet it's also super true to the core of the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of contradiction that you would expect from like a marketing manager of like, it's just like the thing you know, but different completely, but like actually.
Yeah. By the way, that core is of course being a whirlwind ride through the World Wide Web. I'm your host Matt.
And as always, I am your co-host Galen.
And yeah, so
oh wait, this is Net Surfer Pro.
Yeah, so we have something new here. It is not a movie, video game, TV show, album, meme, sort of a meme, but not really the point. We have a brand.
Yeah, today we're talking about a brand in broad strokes terms and also in very specific terms.
Yeah, so okay, let's put some context here first.
All right, I believe we should go into the fact corner real quick.
Well, not yet.
No.
So, for reference, over the weekend, a friend of mine, Kevin, shouts out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
No last name. I didn't ask for permission. Don't sue me, Kevin. Don't go after me. He knows where I live.
If your name is Kevin and you aren't the friend, then don't try and ape any like internet clout. Like I'm friends with Galen and Matt.
Also, don't try to like take out the other Kevins that try to do that in like a Kevin Highlander.
Yeah, we'll have the Kevin Battle Royale for a later episode.
The tagline is "There Kevin only be one."
Yep, of course. But that's a later episode.
But yes, my friend Kevin hosted a Mountain Dew tasting party where he got a bunch of like little like free sample plastic cups and poured a little bit of as many Mountain Dew flavors as he could find. It was pretty much everything currently on the market, especially the like unique flavors to various restaurants and grocery store chains.
Yep.
He got a few imported ones and a few discontinued flavors as well. Not my most favorite discontinued flavor, which I'll bring up later when the time is appropriate. But yeah, so it was about 32, if I'm doing the math correctly.
Yes, it was 32 with a bonus 33. The bonus 33 was just real sugar Mountain Dew.
Yeah. I want to preface this also by saying that, so I'm a type 1 diabetic. I normally don't drink regular soda. I could if I wish, but one can of Mountain Dew is like 60 grams of carbohydrates, which is about how much an average fast food meal would cost.
Yeah.
It's more than my dinners and lunches at home. So like it's a lot. It's a lot of carbohydrates. And so I normally drink diet soda because I need the caffeine and I like cold drinks, and I'm a sucker who has trouble drinking water for some reason.
Yeah, that's fair. I pretty much exclusively drink like Powerade or Gatorade type things to try and wean myself off of soda. But yeah, being diabetic does not mean you can't drink sugar. Just means you really shouldn't. Especially should drink like really sugary drinks, because that's a good way to waste a lot of insulin. But
yeah. Now, so there's sort of a history with Mountain Dew and making diet flavors. They're kind of pretty good at it, but not really. Better than most companies as far as like making diet versions of new flavors.
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes when Coke has like a new limited variant, like the vanilla Coke, they don't always have a diet version.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that the diet is a lower market. Like, there's just less people who drink diet. And I don't want to like sit on a soapbox and say like it's ableist to not have diet soda, but it's definitely very frustrating when so many new flavors come out that I just can't really afford to buy a single can or bottle. So a tasting event where I could try just a little bit of a bunch of different flavors is perfect for me.
Yeah, the Mountain Dew, well, Mountain Dew, especially recently, has like actually been pretty decent about making diet flavors for some of their special flavors.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of they're kind of one of the only ones that actually does that.
Yeah. I'm still upset you can't get diet strawberry Sunkissed or Fanta or like there are so many flavors of soda that are not dieted.
I can definitely say, as far as just general soda opinions, Vanilla Coke slaps, but Vanilla Coke is like the only Coke, like that is the only like regular cola flavor variant that I've ever had that I would be like, it's kind of a shame that you can't regularly have this. It's great. Every other like cola-y type thing I've ever tried, even like, you know, cherry Dr. Pepper and stuff like that, I'm just like, it's whatever. It's not really any better than the original.
I definitely prefer the like fruity drinks. I'm a mixed drinker when I go to like fast food restaurants and gas stations. I don't normally prefer the taste of just plain cola, but like with diet flavors like Spark Zero, Major Melon Zero, and then last year for Voodoo they had Voodoo Zero.
Yeah, that
is great, and I hope they continue that because it is very nice.
Yeah,
it's just very very nice. So yeah, we had a good time tasting all these different flavors, conversing with other people, sort of sharing our opinions on it. It's very interesting because so Mountain Dew is normally a sort of lemon, orange, lime, citrus flavor.
Yeah.
It is a very distinct fruity flavor, and we sort of played this game of like trying to figure out what the flavors were, because their names are not very descriptive.
Yeah.
I feel like with other than the Coke part of Coke, you hear cherry vanilla Coke and you're like, oh, okay. They don't do like Coca-Cola, Blast Form.
Yeah.
Wave Crash.
You know what? I'm even going to specifically call out that I think that Mountain Dew has the most fun with their naming conventions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, it is unironically far more fun to be like Coca-Cola, Frostbite, Overdrive, Purple Thunder than like Sprite Cranberry.
Yeah, like I'll put it this way, Mountain Dew making an Airhead mystery flavor type flavor product is completely in line.
Yeah.
They're like the Jelly Belly of soda in that some of their flavors are toxic to human consumption.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Mountain Dew, it was quite an experience. We'll get to that in a bit, but first we need to go over the history of Mountain Dew.
So now we're going to the fact corner, yes?
Yes.
The Fact Corner.
Okay, so I just want to get your guess on this. What year was Mountain Dew first made?
Oh God, this. Okay, so we for those at home, we discussed that we would be discussing facts about Mountain Dew, but this was completely sprung on me. Okay, I'm fairly certain Mountain Dew has been around since I was at least like 5. So I was 5. I was 2001 and 5. I was 5 in 2001. I was the year 2001 when I was 5.
Wow.
But it's definitely a more recent one. It was made by PepsiCo. I'm going to guess 99.
Try 59 years before that. It was
my
first
God.
made in 1940 by the Hartman brothers, 2 Tennessee beverage makers.
Holy crap. And the war didn't end that year?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at least this one was made in America, unlike Fanta. Yeah.
Google Fanta Germany for more information.
In 1958, they changed the formula, and 3 years later, the formula was purchased by PepsiCo who, purchased the formula and the rights and the naming and all that to make Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew originally was concocted as a mixer for whiskey because those two brothers did not. They couldn't find the mixer they liked for whiskey, so they were like, "We'll just make our own."
Okay, as somebody who does do alcohol,
alcohol.
Mountain Dew and Fireball, which is a statement that, having said that, you might assume that I'm 16 years old, but Mountain Dew and Fireball kind of slaps together.
What's next? Fucking Red Bull and Jack Daniels.
Yeah, exactly, right? God.
White Claw and LaCroix. Whiter Claw, they call it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Mountain Dew being an old slang for moonshine.
That's really funny.
And the original marketing even reflected this. The old logo was like a prairie scene with like a hillbilly. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, hillbilly is
with a hillbilly on it as sort of a mascot ish.
I give everyone here a redneck card.
Nice, that's good. Thank you. So, but that was changed when PepsiCo took over. They sort of immediately began rebranding it as a drink for the hip youth.
Yes.
And they did a good job at that because as the years progressed, Mountain Dew became even more of a drink geared towards the hip youth, and now that's kind of its main selling point, its main audience.
Yes, I want to interject here briefly to say that I have taken a non-zero amount of marketing classes in my life, and in every marketing class I've ever taken, there's something called a positioning statement that they discuss. A positioning statement is basically like a thesis for your product. It is supposed to be just like a single sentence that gets out what is your product, what is your demographic, why is your product best for this demographic, what have you. And so the positioning statement is almost always used for... The positioning statement I've always seen is Mountain Dew, and I'm just going to read out verbatim real quick, for 16 to 24-year-old males who embrace an excitement, adventure, and fun. Mountain Dew, of all carbonated soft drinks, delivers great taste that exhilarates like no other, because Mountain Dew is energizing, thirst-quenching, and has one-of-a-kind citrus flavor. I'm Guy Fieri, and I approve of this message.
Try that new Mountain Dew chicken. Only at Chicken Guy, where we have guys made of chicken. It's out of bounds.
I read about Diogenes plucking all the feathers from a chicken and being like, behold, a man. And I was like, that sounds real tasty. Chicken Guy.
Wait, is Guy Fieri just Diogenes reborn? Okay, we can't get too into that. That's too much for me to handle right now.
Yeah, that's a little too much of a
Diogenes. Okay. So yeah, that's a very, very good sort of case in point, I guess.
Yeah.
Of what we were talking about. One thing that Mountain Dew, as we've sort of alluded to, is known for is the variety of flavors it has.
Yes.
And I have sort of a brief history of Mountain Dew flavors over the years, because I think the progression of this is super interesting. Here's a good one. What was the first alternate Mountain Dew flavor?
That has to be Code Red.
Wrong.
Oh my god.
It was Mountain Dew Red.
Oh
in
no.
1988, and it was shortly after unreleased, pulled from shelves. But later, 13 years later, they unluckily produced Code Red in 2001. And this sort of became, it was like a remake of Mountain Dew Red. They were like, they weren't ready for it yet.
Yeah, yeah.
People aren't ready for this yet.
People were getting letters that their mouths are experiencing too much flavor and awesomeness.
It was before its time being 2001 when Code Red came out with a very similar sort of cherry-inspired flavor. It's red, but with code now for the information age.
Yep.
Yeah, so this released in 2001 and is still ongoing. It's sort of I would say it's the Luigi to Mountain Dew's Mario, but the colors are flipped.
Yeah.
So it's like an animation error from Super Show.
Yeah, exactly. Luigi, why are you currently wearing red?
Because you were drinking Mountain Dew, and I had to drink Code Red because that's the only other flavor they have at the time.
Luigi, we can both drink Mountain Dew, you know that, right?
Then we'll both be green. How will they tell us apart? Okay, yeah, so after Code Red, the next flavor to be added to the Mountain Dew family was Baja Blast. This was the first location-exclusive flavor made for Taco Bell. I love Wikipedia describes it as being done after a lengthy study performed to see what flavor profile would best work with Taco Bell's offerings. I'm just picturing like late at night in a lab, these scientists like, come on, I know we can find it. The ultimate Mountain Dew flavor to go with the cheesy gordita and the Mexican pizza.
Sir, please, your wife has been calling. You need to go home.
Not now! Come on.
One man cannot eat so many Crunch Wraps in a row.
But I must know. The perfect pairing, and it's Baja Blast. It's Baja Blast.
This is going to be a really good episode for TikTok sounds.
Yeah. So Baja Blast was released in 2004 as the first promotional flavor. I don't know if I would say it best fits Taco Bell, but I am not the best judge of character. It also didn't originally have a diet flavor, so that's fun.
Yep.
The next one was interesting. This sort of became a trend of Mountain Dew. See, Mountain Dew is a brand for the people, and so they've had Dewmocracy, where they allow the customers to vote on flavors of Dew. They would have like a bracket with the test drinkers, because they have test drinkers, of course.
Yep.
And then they would have the final 3 be released to store shelves for people all around America to vote on. In the first Dewmocracy, it was something that nobody remembers. I don't even remember the name of it. Voltage and Supernova. And Voltage won and is now a member of the family. Sort of a blue raspberry flavor.
Yeah. Blue raspberry, this being a point that was brought up yesterday during the tasting event, is that it's interesting that blue raspberry has become a standard flavor because raspberries famously aren't blue, but also, you know, there's too many other red flavors. This is another thing we're going to be discussing later in the episode, is the flavor of colors.
I also thought it was just that, like, blueberry doesn't work well by itself in terms of flavor additives, but raspberry does. I don't know. I'm not a flavor scientist. I'm not even a regular scientist.
But I am a flav spurt.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
After the first Dewmocracy, I want to note, so that was in 2007. Also in 2007 was Game Fuel. Game Fuel is intrinsically tied to Mountain Dew. It's very important to the Dewstery and the Dewsperience and the sort of Douvra, if you will. So, Game Fuel was first released as a promotion with Halo 3, Mountain Dew having sort of trademarked the slogan of being Game Fuel, the soda for gamers, aka age 16 to 24 males.
Yep.
And you can, like this is sort of, now what Mountain Dew I think is most associated with is they have become the gamer drink. At least, like, in circles I've run in, Mountain Dew is the drink for gamers, about gamers. You may be able to put it into your computer, but your computer won't work anymore. And this was the start of it. Game Fuel was sort of just I don't even know what the flavor originally was.
It was Game Fuel one of the, like, orange ones?
I think so.
Because, like, that's what I've seen.
I think it was sort of an orange-focused one for Halo 3. But the thing about Game Fuel is that through the many iterations of it, it has not remained a consistent flavor.
Yeah.
Game Fuel is instead a label that they put on multiple flavors, much like 007. After Game Fuel 1, the next one actually had 2 flavors because it was for WoW, and they had like a Horde and an Alliance flavor.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oftentimes, this was used to bring back flavors that were discontinued, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Because, for example, the second Dewmocracy was Whiteout, United, I believe, and Typhoon. In Whiteout won, but Typhoon was later brought back as a game fuel for, like, Modern Warfare 3 or some shit.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I get pissed. Because there was a Diet Mountain Dew contest where there was a set of like 3 finalists that were alternate diet flavors of Mountain Dew, one of which being Diet Supernova, the Supernova from the first Democracy. And I loved this. It was like a strawberry watermelon flavor, 2 things that there were sodas of that I could rarely ever drink, except for like a special occasion, because those are just like, they're never diet.
Yeah.
And I fucked with Supernova so hard. It was the winner of the competition, but it got pulled about 10 months later because of low sales. And I am livid to this day. Honestly, redoing this doing this episode makes me even more livid. It's not like ableist to not have diet flavors, but it is a shame.
Yeah.
Especially when diet sodas are they're a luxury. I'm going to be obvious. Like, they're a luxury.
Yeah. The thing is that, like, it isn't ableist to not have diet flavors exactly. And it isn't exactly ableist to not have diet flavors of a really good flavor. But, like, Whiteout is not something that is sold that commonly in, like, 12-packs anymore, but Whiteout is still sold, like, you can still find Whiteout, like, generally sold in, like, dollar stores and stuff. You can still find other, like, weird flavors of Mountain Dew in, like, slightly weird places. You can't really find, like, the diet versions of this. And so, like, to pull it completely and, like, not even do what you do with other weird flavors where, like, you just kind of throw them at, dollar stores or, like, Aldi's or, other
gas
like
stations.
Yeah, other sort of, like, obscure but still very common places is a real big shame. And it's like, especially when you will do that for other common flavors that just aren't, super common, like Major Melon, for example. Although Major Melon does have a diet variant that I believe is still being sold, right?
Yeah, I actually have one literally right next to me.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my final point, is currently there are sort of 2 alternate flavors that have at least been around for a few years, I would say. Like 2 years maybe. And they both have diet variants, those being Spark and Major Melon. Major Melon being pretty much just a watermelon flavor, and Spark being a, like, raspberry lemonade that is sort of less Mountain Dew and more lemonade than I would expect.
Yeah.
And I really like both of those flavors, and they have diet versions. And like I said, Voodoo 22 had a diet version. But I can't find Diet Major Melon or Diet Spark Zero, whatever, in gas stations, but I can find, like, bottles of Pitch Black.
Yeah.
It's upsetting to me. It's the tragedy of capitalism that a market has to be profitable, which means that niche markets are not profitable and are thus not served.
It's hard to say that there's, like, a responsibility to have a luxury item, but at the same time, it's kind of a case of, if you are going to have your brand be, we have a bunch of these weird, unique flavors, then I think that, there has some responsibility to be like, okay, offer more variations on these flavors so more people can have, like, offer a Diet Code Red.
They have that, actually.
Fair enough.
They don't have Diet Voltage, though.
Offer a Diet well, okay, Code Red is my favorite flavor, so...
Yeah.
But, point being, like, if we're going to have to spend our days here, the least you could do is have these diet variations of these luxury items, because, damn it, people want them. And it's not even specifically people who can't have regular soda very regularly. It's just also give, more options to these people, because even if there isn't a huge market, there is still... Soda is so cheap. The margins on soda are like 500,000%.
Yeah, it's like McDonald's can sell their sodas for like 20 cents and still make a profit.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's the thing that makes fast food the most money.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But hey, you know what?
Also, while I'm on my soapbox, more sit-down restaurants, please provide more than just a Diet Cola.
Yes.
It's just like they have, root beer, Sprite, Mountain Dew, and Diet Coke. Oh boy.
There's so many sit-down restaurants that are like, we have 5 sodas and your only diet option is like Diet Pepsi, and it's like, thanks. I think I'd rather you just give me actual dishwasher, but thanks. Give me a real dishwasher.
You're winning the new dishwasher.
Hey, you know what? While we're doing this little talking about capitalism and Mountain Dew real quick, let's take a brief diversion as well.
A do version.
This is not exactly a state of the meme, but this is just sort of a common sort of type of thing, especially with discussing Dew and gamers.
Let's go to the controversies corner.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Can't use that. But
the controversies corner is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
So
of my dog,
the Doritos Pope. Now, the Doritos Pope, and sort of like the image of Mountain Dew and Doritos as sort of like the gamer stuff. Specifically, the Doritos Pope being Jeff Keighley, reached its head with an interview that Jeff Keighley did about Comic-Con, Microsoft, and Mountain Dew and Doritos XP. Doritos and Mountain Dew XP. One of them was XP. Jeff Keighley is a long-standing gaming journalist. I'm not going to say he hasn't done any good work.
He was famously like one of the few people to report on Valve and be like let into Valve's offices between Half-Life 1 and 2.
Yeah. I will not bemoan Jeff Keighley for a history that I do not know. We know him more nowadays as the guy who wants to make the Gaming Awards a really big thing. But like again, he has a long and storied history. However, this specific interview was done in 2012, and I think the reason that it really caught on as like him being the Doritos Pope and people making fun of this, because for reference, the interview was done literally flanked by Doritos and Mountain Dew. Like, literally, there was Doritos and a bag of Doritos to his right, and then Mountain Dew and a 6-pack of Mountain Dew to his left.
Yeah, like a chess piece. You know, he's the king, there's no queen, because this was gaming in the 2000s. There were the 2 bishops on either side, and then the knights.
Yeah, and it just sort of, it really spoke to the disillusioned male gamer demographic, which was a big sort of thing in the 2010s, especially at one point in the 2010s.
Yeah.
I think that this was one of the more legitimate grievances, though, because it really spoke to gaming journalism essentially just being a really, really obvious ploy for marketing. Like, journalism in heavy air quotes of, like...
Let's please, let me... I have the deep-rooted moral need to clarify something here.
Yes, absolutely.
When we say that, gaming journalism as advertisement... It comes with the recognition that there are journalists who do journalist work, and even at the time, there were journalists who do, investigative work, reports and stuff. It's that the systems in which these were published, the, publishers, the people who owned the magazines and the websites, were ultimately there to make money, usually through advertising deals.
If I may offer real quick, when I say these criticisms, I am loving this more at IGN, less at Kotaku.
Less at Jeff Keighley.
Less at Jeff Keighley, more at IGN. Yes.
It's like the whole Kane and Lynch thing, where the guy got fired because of the company, but he was doing journalist work.
Exactly. What
was that, Jeff Gerstmann?
I want to say yeah, because he was working for Giant Bomb at the time.
No, he started Giant Bomb
because he left GameSpot. At the time. The image that gamers TM have of gaming journalism, especially in the early 2010s, was not wholly inaccurate, but the sort of turning of gaming journalism into a dirty word. Actually, no. It's the turning of gaming journalist into a dirty word.
I think the motivations from the journalists themselves were mischaracterized.
Yeah.
Let me remind you that, like, most gaming magazines were owned by the companies who were publishing games, making games. Like Nintendo Power was making it's a Nintendo owned brand.
Yeah.
There was, like, Sony's PlayStation magazine. There was, PC Gamer magazine, where these were people who published games. And then there was, like, Game Informer, which was owned by GameStop. It was part of their marketing, like, wheel, their branding wheel. But the people working there were still wanting to do journalistic work.
Yeah. And, like, the other problem is that there's this, like, really horrible self-feeding mechanism where it's like essentially these magazines, these, companies, we'll just call them what they are, companies, want to have, like, first access to all the hottest new games, to show you previews of what the developer's working on, etc., because that is exciting to gamers, and that gets eyes on the page, that gets people to read the magazine, see cool new things about their favorite games. However, the problem is that if you start to be critical of things like that, if you start to be, say, doing work like Jason Schreier is, like, many other journalists are, where you actually delve into the ideas of, like, hey, gaming companies are treating their employees terribly, or, these are terrible market practices. Companies will and have explicitly, like, barred like, the journalists from doing preview work because of things like that. And so, like, there's this terrible self-fulfilling mechanism where it's like, well, we don't want to criticize them too much because then we lose access, and then we're not getting as many eyes on us. And it's like, I don't want to criticize the individual people, even though there are probably individual people in some ways responsible, but, like, realistically, it's more the company responsible. It's a big problem, and you know what? I'll even go as far as to say it's still a big problem today. IGN is all but a glorified mechanism for showing gaming previews,
So here's a few quick notes. One is that nowadays, even though things like, even though there are websites that aren't owned by gaming companies now, they are operated on clicks, and that drastically changes the way the website is run. Like, headline first articles, with actual clickbait, are used to fund investigative articles, and the low effort quote unquote articles kind of have to exist in that way. Other thing is that in most other media, the reviewers do not work for an arm of the thing they're reviewing. Movie critics, book critics, they tend to work for other publications. And I think that does have something to do with gaming as a medium and how it's viewed. Like, people say, gaming is widely respected now because everyone plays video games. And that's true, but we're only now really seeing major news outlets like Bloomberg have dedicated gaming journalists like Schreier. Because only now is it really getting the like ivory representation,
It is, what I would say is that it is still a surprise for, like, something gaming news related to end up on NPR.
Like Germa.
Like Germa.
Except it wasn't for gaming at all.
But, like, when Activision Blizzard laid off 8% of its entire staff, that made NPR, and that was an insanely, like, that was a wild happenstance that something so actually world-shattering happened in gaming that, like, like, other news stations actually really had to cover it. And so, like, gaming is widely respected, but I mean, the New York Times very recently started a real article with, like, gaming long thought to be the domain of, like, children. It's like, yeah, it's been that way for at least, like, 10 years. Anyway.
I feel like we've gone way off track here.
Mountain Dew.
Essentially, yeah. So, one bit about the Mountain Dew Doritos relationship. They're like this. You can't see my hands, but you can assume what I'm doing.
Yeah, they're perfectly intertwined.
Yeah.
The fingers of the hands are actually tied into knots right now.
Yeah, sheet bend specifically.
Yeah. Oh, can you do a crane?
A crane?
Oh. Wow, that's a really good I mean, I meant more like crane like the animal, not like...
I was trying to go for Fraser crane.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It looks really
here
close
he comes
to his
out.
head, though.
Oh, Niles, I have to go to my radio show. So yeah. Doritos had an ARG in 2008. Sort of an ARG, sort of just a puzzle hunt called Doritos Quest. And the reward was that you learned that they were going to have a Mountain Dew flavored Doritos, which is maybe the worst reward for any ARG, including fucking whatever Cicada did. Yeah. Honestly, it's probably a worse reward than the block. The Peter Molyneux game.
Oh my god, yeah. The fucking mystery block that turned out to be a thing for Godus.
For royalties from Godus.
Yeah.
What's better, royalties from Godus or Mountain Dew flavored Doritos? Put your votes in now, America. And the rest of the world. International viewers.
Just write them on a piece of paper and throw them directly in the garbage where both of those belong.
Okay, at least recycle. No, so yeah, so Mountain Dew and Doritos have kind of occupied similar spaces, just in the sort of opposite side of the consumable market. You know, one is food, one is drink. While it's not a like necessarily Doritos concept, I think the Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew is it's the Tekken X Street Fighter of Mountain Dew flavored Doritos, you know?
Yeah.
Of like taking something that is a snack food flavor and putting it in drink form. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I think Mountain Dew has sort of, with a lot of these sort of hyper testosterone brands, it has become a joke that is also still able to maintain its presence because like marketing works. Yeah. You know, like it is funny because of how like power thirst manny it is. But also at the same time, that sells things, you know?
Yeah.
And people and gamers love free stuff.
Gamers love free stuff.
Game Fuel gives you codes for whatever game it is. Gamers love free stuff.
Final Fantasy XIV put on an event with Snickers, and that was before my time playing Final Fantasy XIV. But I tell you right the fuck now, if it came back, I would be buying more Snickers bars.
So here's something I think is sort of a big deal about Mountain Dew's Dew-splosion in the 2000s. Gamers love free stuff, but more than that, they are fiercely loyal.
Yeah.
They will defend their faction. And I'm not even talking about the events we alluded to in that previous rant, but like just console wars, you know?
Yeah.
They are loyal. They will buy almost anything. They're fucking idiots. They're children. And Mountain Dew realized that was the perfect market to advertise to, because like you're just gonna get purchases that way.
Yeah.
Like this is what Steve Bannon meant.
Yeah, this is exactly what Steve Bannon fucking did. It's
like, sorry to invoke the name of the devil, but seriously, it's no wonder that Mountain Dew becoming gamified wasn't a, you know, shot in the dark at a brand that was kind of floundering. It was a calculated strategic decision based on market research.
Yeah.
And they realized that green is computers.
Yeah.
Okay. One last controversy before we get into color theory.
Yes.
So we can't talk about Mountain Dew and controversy without talking about a certain poll ran in 2012. So Mountain Dew had a contest where anyone in the world could submit a name for their new apple flavor, their new green apple flavor. And internet happened. It should be known by now that you cannot let the internet type anything into a competition. Like, you have to have moderators or Google forms. You have to have like,
you have to have a second step in there somewhere.
Or even just like a word bank of unaccepted answers. Because 4chan happened.
Yeah.
And they rated it and made it bad. So
So, okay.
Disclaimer,
I feel like-
this next part entirely depends on edgy humor. I think discussing edgy humor in the 2000s is always tough because it's culturally relevant even if it's not great.
yeah.
And trying to find edgy humor that is like, there's a lot that is just racism, sexism, homophobia, anti-Semitism disguised as edgy humor. And I think trying to find the difference between those is so hard. Nowadays, it's a little easier because usually people are very upfront about what their real beliefs are.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to 2012 Mountain Dew, thing, it's like, how many of those people actually thought that was funny? How many of them thought it was just shocking? And how many of them thought it for real?
Yeah, it's okay. Like, so here's the problem, and I'll be explicit here. Okay, in the modern day, we understand the concept of dog whistling.
Mm-hmm.
That's I feel like the big thing here is the idea of a dog whistle is something that generally people now understand better.
Mm-hmm.
I will even specifically say, like, generally white dudes understand better, even if a lot of times white dudes misinterpret them. But, like, it is a phrase that has entered the public consciousness far more nowadays than it was in the 2010s and mid to late 2000s. So, for example, the most famous submission of this poll was Hitler did nothing wrong. Now, if this was the modern day and that happened, I would not hesitate to say that the most people who put that on the list, like, were either Nazis or useful idiots for Nazis.
Yeah.
The problem with discussing this about a decade earlier, is that I would hesitate to say that about that specific time because ignorance was a bigger factor, and ignorance does not excuse it, but, like, there's a certain level of just, wouldn't it be hilarious if we fucked up this marketing thing by putting this really shocking thing here? Like, I will put all my cards on the table. I still laugh at it.
Yeah.
And, like,
so,
like, I'm, like, I'm not gonna get canceled for this. Like, I would never be like, haha, isn't that hilarious? But, like, I do look at that and I go, it was a different time. It felt like a simpler time to me, even if I know it wasn't. It felt more like you could do that and just sort of have a laugh at marketers not realizing what the obvious thing was going to be.
So I think a lot of this has to do with the perception of 4chan. We've never really done an episode on 4chan, but, like, nowadays it is pretty much just, like, garbage. Like I don't mean I don't go there, but, like, people view it as garbage.
Yeah. We have discussed Mew, but, like, even that is, like, a much different beast than, like, 4chan. B in polls specifically.
Yeah, B largely being the face of 4chan in the 2000s to 2010s. It brought with it a sort of public-facing perception of 4chan, a, like, brand that users of the website really heavily subscribe to.
Yeah.
And I think this is why there are so many, like, memes that started from 4chan, is the view that 4chan was where the good memes come from.
Yeah.
It was an exporter. And I think also there was the sort of belief that 4chan was the edgy rebels, and when they do things, it was edgy for shock value, not because they were racist.
Yeah.
There was this sort of societal excuse towards 4chan. Like, oh, they're just rebels, they're just renegades, but they don't mean that, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it is obvious they do.
It's like I think about, like, Pools Closed.
Yeah.
Where, like, the saga of Habbo Hotel versus 4chan, where, like, for a long time, a lot of people, myself included, just looked at that and laughed, because it's like, it was clearly using racist caricatures, but the vibe of the time felt like, yeah, but that's just because people are upset about it. It's just to get a rise out of people. It's not actual racists. and we live in a far more enlightened and just generally better age about that kind of perception, where we go, is ironic racism, like, good? I don't, not
Yeah.
really.
I think also there is a view of 4chan being a cool kids club.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think, so for like a lot of people of our generation, we're young growing up on the internet, viewing 4chan as a site of maturity, which obviously it's not. It's, you know, people who are very immature. But there is the view that, like, if you were cool, you would do this or, you know, post this or like this type of humor because, you know, there's these cool things from 4chan, right? So it must be a cool place.
Yeah.
It was like a frat house.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
And so when you talk about these sort of internet polls, a lot of it could have been people who wanted to fit in, thus were, you know, adding to these votes just because they wanted to fit in and appear older and more cool than they were.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, it probably started with people who were actually anti-Semitic, playing it off as shock value, but a number of other factors collided around it.
It's the like internet equivalent of like smoking behind the bleachers, basically. Of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm a cool kid. I'm gonna say screw you to the corporation by, you know, putting in this really shocking anti-Semitic thing. And it's like, you know, like there is an amount of rebellion in that, but is it really a good way of rebellion? Not really, I suppose.
Now,
Not
gushing,
really.
now gushing Granny is hilarious.
Yeah, gushing grannies you can
because
very
it's a
much
Granny
laugh at.
Smith apple.
Exactly, it's
Right?
perfect.
And it's a gush of water to your mouth. You know, it's delicious. Yeah. See, there's some funny ones. There are just a lot of bad ones.
Any documentary about 4chan, I feel like, has to contend with the fact that a good amount of things that came from 4chan, especially the stuff that was not steeped in racism and anti-Semitism, is really funny, unironically.
Remember Itty Bitty Baby, Itty Bitty Boat?
I
Lex Luthor stole 40 cakes?
Yeah, I still talk about Millhouse.
Yeah.
Like,
Millhouse is, well, that's culturally relevant for maybe a different episode.
fair enough. But, like, yeah, the
Actually, I think we did talk about Millhouse in our meme economy episode.
we did, yeah, because the idea of Millhouse is not a meme is itself a meme. And anyway, so Mountain Dew, though.
Yeah. So we've gone through the Dew controversies, and we've gone through sort of a brief history of the flavors. I think the next main topic is the concept of flavor theory, or color flavor theory. Color theory, flavor theory, color flavor theory. And this is important to I think our final segment's going to be the actual tasting review.
Yes.
So all the people who are here just for that, well, you've got a little bit more of a hill to climb.
Yep.
And then it's all
Much
downhill.
like Sisyphus.
Sure. So, what does red taste like?
Well, that's a very good question.
Like, I hand you a red drink. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, in my so like for example, in my perception, red is sort of like I can't even say strawberry because like it's not strawberry, it's strawberry flavor.
But it's also like a little cherry.
Yeah, it's a little bit of cherry. There's like a slight note of sour, but mostly it's kind of like very sweet, like a little bit of sour, but just enough to sort of like change the perception of it.
We all know what yellow is.
Yeah, yellow is lemon, of course. Yellow is pretty sour. Yellow is like slightly lemonade-y.
As you tint it, it starts to get more towards mango and then orange.
Yep, yeah.
Maybe pineapple's in there. I guess it's more less saturated lemon. You know, blue is raspberry for some reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's blueberry.
But it's also like when blue gets darker, it's like wild berry. It's
Yeah.
like the like not just one berry, but like the multiple berry flavor.
Yeah, it's like we don't know what color this berry is, but you don't either.
Yeah.
And green can be lime most usually, but it's also You know, as far as fruit goes, it can also be like green apple, as we've said. You don't often see red apple flavor.
Yeah. The green apple is really more like, it has the cultural idea of like Granny Smith apple, and so like you usually get the really sour stuff. Even though I myself love Red Delicious, shouts out.
I'm more of a golden delicious myself.
Yeah, shout out to the apple family.
That's what I call myself, golden delicious.
Nice. I call myself Golden Experience.
The golden path. Seek the golden path.
The yellow brick road.
No Tunic spoilers. So I feel like this is something that I'm sure there's been tons of papers written about, and we're going to cite none of them. I think the general sort of idea is that there is a element of placebo when it comes to flavors in food. And, like, you expect a food to taste a certain way, and then it tastes that way. So, like, food coloring can make something taste different, even though it looks the same.
Yeah.
Like, I have had purple potatoes that, by all means, were just potatoes, but tasted kind of grape to me because they were purple.
Yeah. So I also want to specifically say that this is from a United States perspective.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can't sit here and tell you that this is true anywhere else, because not just because we have tasted international flavors as well, but like, you know, I don't know if the purple, the grape flavor of, say, grape soda in, you know, the United States is the same as the one in even Canada, but like, especially, you know, is the one in like Japan, is the one in, you know, China, is the one in Europe.
There's different regional fruits that could be involved, as well as just like regional sort of tastes. You know, like, you know how they have like the like a lot of tea flavors are bigger outside of America.
Yeah.
And America, tea is kind of limited to just iced tea as far as like packaged stuff goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, tea bags, tea packets, if you go to a restaurant that has tea or a cafe, you know, there's more there. And boba tea is picking up a lot now. But as far as just like, you know, you go to the gas station and you get a can of tea. It's usually like just iced tea.
Yeah,
it's like Arizona or Brisk.
Yeah, it's like an amber tea. It's, you know, it's water, but with like a kind of tang to it, and it's like, you know, it's your quote standard tea.
Yeah, but then you see like green tea Kit Kats.
Yeah.
from somewhere else, and it's like that makes sense because they have different ideas about flavor than we do.
Yeah,
this is flavor is a cultural construct.
Yeah,
sort of. But at least color flavor is a cultural construct. And I really want to bring this up because A, it's interesting, much like the discussion on what color different school subjects are.
Yeah.
B, this is important to our perspective tasting Mountain Dew because there are some flavors that just taste like a color. And I think explaining what that means before we get into the review part of the review is important.
Yeah.
Because when we say something tastes blue, it means that it tastes like the blue flavor we've come to know and love.
Yeah. Or like, for example, you know what, for example, even, if I say something tastes purple, that also has its own weird shades because like, there is good purple taste and bad purple taste. Bad purple taste, I think a lot of general people our age would associate with like cough syrup.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's like, it's this really sort of sour kind of like, it's sour in a bad way, with like the slightest bit of like kick of grape-ish flavor.
Yeah, there's like a bitterness to it.
Yeah, to try and disguise the sour, bitter, gross. But then there's good grape flavor, and that's usually more like a grape soda. That's, you know, the sweeter sort of like, you know, again, a little bit tangy, like a little bit of sour, but mostly just there to, I think I said this for the red too, but like, you know, it's very sweet. It's, it also, I should note as well, another reason that these kinds of flavors might be different is that a lot of these flavors are derived from, like they're derived from different stuff. Like, I know that red food coloring famously is like a beetle, for example.
Nice.
And
the actual ingredients of the drink are different from what you see on the bottle in terms of like Sure, it might have some raspberry juice and blueberry juice, but it also has these other things.
Yeah, and so like it's a lot of extracts that are like, really potent and then, diluted with like, water and sugar and carbonation and stuff like that. And so that's why a lot of things that are a certain color ultimately come to be associated with that color and are all taste a very similar way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so when we say things like it tastes like blue but bad or good blue, that it's kind of a if you know thing where it's like the blue flavor that we associate with a lot of bluish sodas or bluish products are going to ultimately change our perspective.
Yeah, I think, so when I wrote my short snippets of review for each flavor, I tried to avoid using just color as much as I could.
Yeah.
But also, I recognized that, like, there were some that were the same color that tasted similar, and I don't know how much of that is the contents of the soda versus my perception of the soda.
Yeah.
Like, do I just think Voltage and Frostbite taste similar because they're both kind of bluish? I don't know.
Yeah. Do I think Overdrive and Livewire are, kind of the same because they're both orange sodas and I associate both orange sodas with the same orange soda? Or do they have literally the same makeup? Mm-hmm. Good questions to ask. But I think it's finally time.
So we're going to go down our list here, starting with regular Mountain Dew and ending with the more sort of unique ones. And you gave them a numeric rating.
Yes.
I gave them a tier rating from S, A, B, C, D, and F. And we're going to just sort of compare notes, I guess, and see how we feel.
Yep. This will we'll be able to breeze through some of these, and some of these will be a little more complicated. So starting off with regular Mountain Dew, for some baseline reference here, I gave regular Mountain Dew a 6. It was a 5, and then I kind of it might have come in the middle of some really bad ones, and so I was like, no, actually, screw it, that's a 6.
Yeah, I have it in C tier, which is about a 5 for me.
Yep.
I'm pretty comfortable with it there. It's definitely not my favorite green soda.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite Mountain Dew flavor, and it's like, if I had the choice between Diet Dew and Diet Coke, I usually take the Coke anyways. I like to mix them. I think Mountain Dew for me, there's something about the consistency of it, especially Diet Mountain Dew, that doesn't taste like other sodas' consistencies. So being diabetic, I have developed a, vizier's tongue for tasting diet versus regular soda.
Yeah.
If there was a king who was also diabetic, I would be the best fucking taste tester. And I think even beyond the simple, these sweeteners taste different or diet and regular soda taste different, Diet Dew just has a different feeling down my tongue and throat than Diet Coke or Pepsi or what have you. But the other Dews don't do that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Code Red does have that feeling, though, which I think is also kind of why Code Red isn't super big on my list, because both of them just have a sort of texture quality to them.
Code Red being the next one. Code Red is one of 2 8s I gave, and it is the top of my list. So for a little bit of clarity about my list, it ended up inadvertently, but this makes, I guess, sense, kind of following an actual bell curve of it seems that, the 4s to 6s were generally the most commons. Probably more like the 3s to 6s were the most commons, and then there were outliers above and below, obviously. Numeric orders aren't always the best. I have a lot of 0.5s here, but I gave them that because I would be able to actually reflect upon things later. Code Red topped out my list. I love Code Red. I feel like in my personal opinion, the best Mountain Dew flavors are way too much, and yet I can pound them.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't pound soda anyway. Soda doesn't do anything for you. It's all empty calories, but
it'll also break open the can, just thus wasting all of that liquid.
Exactly. If you're going to waste soda, you should at least punch it, because then you can throw it into the air and be like a rhythm heaven character. It's do one. Anyway, yeah, the feeling of we are naturally hardwired to generally like sugar, and so the feeling of pounding sugar is fun. And Code Red, I could if I could drink that all fucking day. My God, it is too much. It is nice and sour. The only note I have is yes with 2 exclamation points.
I have it at the same tier as regular. It's just a complete side grade for me. It
That's
does
fair.
not make regular do better or worse. Same for Diet Code Red, like I said. It has sort of the same qualities as regular Diet Mountain Dew, as original Diet Dew. There we go. But it's red.
Yeah. Also, small briefed version for a bonus 33rd, actually. This was not one that I expected at all, but Real Sugar Mountain Dew was there too, and I know that I don't like Real Sugar Mountain Dew. Ended up giving it a 4. That one was, for some reason, Real Sugar sodas always have a weird, film to them, to me.
Sort of, it's like a sugar pulp.
Yeah.
It was kind of tingly, too.
Yeah, that one was, it was on the lower end of my bell curve, but it was also like, it was eh. If it was available, I wouldn't not drink it, but I would be like, oh, sugar, meh.
I like Real Sugar sodas as an additive to, like, diet soda.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, I think this is a Midwest only thing, but there's the brand Ski, which is like this lemon lime orange soda, very similar to Mountain Dew. But then they have a whole branch of, like, other soda flavors, and they have, their soda and their diet soda, and they have root beer and cream soda. All of these are real sugar, except, obviously, the diet. The diet soda mixed with the root beer is, like, divine for me. That is my Percy Jackson nectar.
That does sound really nice.
It's just enough pure sugar to, like, make it worth it, but not so much that it overpowers the other flavors.
Barks Root Beer is probably the only soda I would ever rate a 10 for clarity.
Diet Barks is good.
Yeah, for those at home, Root Beer is my favorite soda. Also, I want to just specifically say, I'm going to put on my gamer hat for a second and say that this is, my ranking here is not, weighted like video game review scores. 7 is not average. I actively tried to keep it like, a 5 out of 10 is what I would call a good drink. If, generally Okay,
Yeah.
I guess 6 out of 10 is good drink if, boring or whatever. That sort of thing.
I think the way I'd put it is everything in C tier is, I don't hate this. It would not disgust me or make me sick, but assuming I could drink it without having to worry about insulin or anything, if somebody put it on the table and said, drink this or I will shoot you with a gun, I would drink it.
Yeah.
I would drink anything because I would want to live in that scenario, but I wouldn't be happy about anything below C tier. Okay, Voltage. Voltage is, I think it's really good. I like Voltage.
Yeah.
It is, I think, just a very solid flavor. It's a valid part of the lineup. Again, I wish it had a diet flavor because I like Voltage. I think it has a good blend of fruit flavors.
Red and blue are like diametric opposites in a lot of like cultural contexts, but in sodas I think they are also sort of very much a good pairing essentially, and so the red drink having a blue to complement it, like Holmes and a Moriarty, is
Charizard and Blastoise, Coke and Pepsi,
Bowser and Mario,
Sonic and Knuckles,
Dry Bowser and Dry Mario.
Dry Mario? He's dead.
He's dead.
I
give that one a 7.
It's in B tier.
Yeah.
It's in A tier. Second highest.
Major Melon.
S tier, baby. I love that watermelon flavor.
That is fair. I gave that one a 6.5 actually.
Interesting.
It is on the lower end of what I consider what I would essentially be like, yeah, this is a good soda. Regular being 6, where I'd be like, yeah, that's a standard soda. This is Mountain Dew.
Let me put it, so one thing I will say about Major Melon, for one thing, I'm mainly going off of the diet flavor. I did not drink the regular flavor at the Pepsi tasting party because I drink the diet enough.
Yes.
I really like it. I like watermelon flavor. One of my favorite sodas of all time, here's some deep lore, is Watermelon Ramune.
Oh.
But I only ever get it at the Japanese festival at the Missouri Botanical Garden because that's the only time I can sort of justify getting it.
Yeah, yeah.
For special occasion.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I like watermelon soda. The watermelon kickstart isn't too bad, but as far as the major melon goes, sometimes it feels a little too acidy. Like I feel like it's going to burn off the back of my throat.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it is worth it for the flavor. I did it all for the Nookie.
I did it all for the watermelon.
Next is Livewire, which I kind of just wrote down as just orange soda.
Yeah, so Livewire...
I don't understand.
So orange soda... Livewire is a 5 for me. Orange soda is... I feel like, in my mind, orange soda is the platonic ideal of a very boring standard soda. No offense to any orange soda fans out there, but like, if I am getting a Fanta, I'm doing it because I'm like, well, they don't have root beer, and I want something nice that doesn't have caffeine. Sure. Livewire, I will say, is the best of the orange Mountain Dews, though. There's another one later that I kind of disliked.
I feel like orange soda is with root beer in the second level of the soda iceberg, where like the top one is like Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
You know, like these are sodas that aren't often represented on like, soda fountains at fast food places.
Yeah.
But they are enough of a cultural concept that they still have a lot of presence.
Yeah, exactly.
I view them in very similar rights, probably because both of them go well with ice cream.
Yes.
You can do floats for both of those. But I like orange soda. I have this in A because it's hard to go wrong with orange soda. It's better than honestly, it's better than Sunkissed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm gonna go with the sort of claim there, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Next is Spark, which again, I'm going by the diet because I love it, and Spark is S tier for me.
Yeah, that is fair. Spark is a 7, which is, because the 8 is the highest on my list, pretty high. I think Spark, so it was raspberry lemonade, and it was kind of sour. It was kind of plastic-ish.
Interesting.
And that was sort of what stopped it for being an 8 for me, was it had that kind of like plasticky film on your mouth for me.
Yeah. It's interesting to note that while every drink here was filtered through the context of a plastic sample cup, the Spark and Major Melon I've had are both not only diet, thus changing how it feels slightly, but also they are both canned, and I'm drinking them straight from the can. So any sort of added, not to get too conspiratorial, but any like microplastics or metal runoff, is going to end up affecting that. And I think that is important. Like, here's the thing about soda. It's fucked. You can't have the same flavor of soda because even like tiny changes in carbonation make a huge difference. Like, you go to a restaurant and like, if their soda syrup is just a little bit out, it suddenly just tastes like LaCroix.
Yeah,
and I can't chug a sparkling water without burping.
I have had the oh my god, what do you do? I have had the wonderful, terrible moments of getting a Sprite, drinking a big old drink and going, their soda fountain's out of water. Yeah. Their soda fountain's out of flavor.
Yep.
Yeah, so Baja Gold.
And every location has different mixtures for their carbonation. Like McDonald's soda does taste different from Burger King soda.
Yeah. Famous McDonald's Sprite being sort of the
yeah. Coke Freestyle can only get you so far, my man.
Baja Gold was a pineapple drink, and I put pineapple in quotes.
So I have a little devil cartoon that I drew with a little pitchfork, sort of an imp. Because just like that one guy from Glass Onion, I don't do pineapple.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to pineapple. Maybe not as deadly that a single drink would cause me to die in dramatic fashion. But I mean, okay, this might not even have real pineapple juice. But I just didn't really want to mess with it.
Yeah. And you know what? You're not missing out.
Yeah.
I can very much tell you that you're not missing out on Baja Gold. Now, Baja Gem... Oh, 3 out of 10 for Baja Gold.
Okay.
Baja Gem was also not great.
So Baja Gem is the first F tier of mine on this list. Okay, spoiler alert for when we get around to Baja Blast. I don't like Baja Blast.
It's far down because it's with all of the like special.
Oh, right.
Like,
it's with the location
store,
exclusives.
Yeah, the store exclusives.
Yeah. I don't like Baja Blast, and I feel like Baja Gem makes it worse.
Yeah.
It is Baja Blast plus mango. And to disappoint the one person from my stream chat who really wanted me to eat a mango, I'm not big on mango flavor.
Yeah. I'm also very much not a big on mango flavor. I had this one as 4.5. It wasn't offensive. It was definitely, if there was one thing I could change of it, I would be like, yeah, take out the mango flavor. It's not, I don't really like mango flavor, but it wasn't bad for me. But what was bad?
Flamin' hot. This is weird.
Flamin' hot. Okay, so here's a little Galen lore. I have the world's babiest tongue. I am Irish, Scottish, Welsh. I like back in the my primitive brain is like built exclusively to like weed out poisons. Like I was built from an evolutionary construct to be like to eat a berry and be like, yes, this is poison. I will not bring it back to the village.
I'm pretty sure the reason this guy eats cheese pizza is because the pepperoni's too spicy.
You're not wrong, and I hate that I have to agree with you. I don't like being roasted like this, but I don't like roasting pepperoni and then eating it either. So, yeah, I have the world's babiest tongue, and I can tell you right now, Flamin' Hot Cheeto is not too spicy, it's just bad.
I love spices, I hate capsaicin. For the longest time, I was the person who was like, I love spicy food, but not food that's spicy for the sake of being spicy. Or something like that, you know, I like food with spices, but I don't like spicy food. My brother hated that phrase.
Yeah.
And it's like, I like curries, you know. I like some chicken flavors, like the spicy Korean at Wingstop, but I don't like capsaicin in capsaicin culture, you know, hot food culture.
Yeah, the hot sauce that's like, this will burn your entire butt off.
If I went on Hot Ones, I would leave after the first wing. Yeah. I'd be like, all right, I'm done. Just give me the milk.
God.
And I could act out the being really hot and spicy, but I'd just be eating the same sauce the whole time. But yeah, so that being said, I was prepared for the worst. I was also prepared for any sense of like cheese or Cheetos, but it was just kind of like Mountain Dew that hurt the back of my throat, which already sometimes happens.
Yeah, it tasted like slightly like cheese and then heartburn.
Oh, I didn't taste a single cheese.
I tasted a very slight amount of cheese.
I think it was more Takis than Cheetos.
Okay, that's maybe
Takis has the lime.
Yeah.
But like, oh, Takis, by the way, is the new Doritos. Don't ask.
No notes.
But yeah, like, it was weird. The way I described it on my notes from reviewing it was that it was like I had swallowed a bunch of Pop Rocks and they didn't decide to pop until they were like halfway through my throat. It had the feeling of that like food recoil without the fun. It was like I got strep throat for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Like that's the other thing is like God, heartburn is the way I described it, and honestly that's definitely correct. Like I woke up multiple times after last night with heartburn because I drank 33 different fucking Mountain Dews. And like that's all I thought was like, yeah, that's flaming hot. 2.5. It sucked.
Yeah. Next up is Voodoo 22 Dew, which was my highest American Mountain Dew flavor, S tier.
Yeah, do you like Airhead's mystery flavor?
So, okay, for reference, Voodoo 22 isn't necessarily Airhead's mystery flavor. That is the marketing conceit. Yeah. It is white flavor, or it is white colored because it is mystery flavor, and white could be anything.
Yeah. Mystery flavor for those at home. Actually, yeah, what is mystery flavor supposed to be?
I don't know, but isn't the idea that it's just how they sell either leftover materials it's like flavors that otherwise didn't sell well?
So
there's some urban legend about it.
Specifically, this is actually getting into other lore. Dum Dums, the lollipop company, mystery flavor for Dum Dums is they will have 2 batches, and when they change the batches, there's obviously an intermix there, and so that intermix is what the mystery flavor of Dum Dums is, and then they, start the actual flavor. And so, mystery flavor of Dum Dums is always actually a mystery because there's, it's mixing of 2 of them in some weird configuration. Mystery flavor Airheads is supposed to be, I think, like a watermelon-y sort of thing. Like, it is a consistent flavor, but the only way I can describe that flavor is white.
Right. Now, Voodoo was, honestly, it always tasted sort of raspberry, blackberry to me. Definitely a more sour berry that's still sweet and not sour in the way that, like, sour apple is,
Yeah.
I really like Voodoo 22. I wish it became a real flavor and not a fake flavor, not a ghost flavor.
Yeah.
It had a diet version, and I had some of the regular during the tasting just because what other chance am I going to get to have more Voodoo? But I mean, this is one I bought boxes of.
Yeah.
That's sort of my endorsement of it.
Yeah, Voodoo was a 7.5. Like, in terms of tier, it would have been lower on S tier, but I definitely would have considered it S tier.
Yeah.
Fruit Quake.
Interesting one. This one's C, because again, my reasoning for C is if somebody forced me to drink this, not even forced, if this was the only thing on the menu at a restaurant, would I drink it? And the answer is yes, but only 1 bottle, only 1 glass.
Yeah.
I don't picture myself buying a box of Fruit Quake even if it was diet. And I don't picture myself voluntarily getting Fruit Quake over, even Code Red, honestly.
Fruit Quake was spicier than the Flamin' Hot one, and like it was like ginger spice, and I did not like it. I don't.
Yeah, it was ginger, very heavily ginger, more than some ginger ales.
Yeah.
I like a good ginger ale from time to time.
Exactly.
But this was like kind of ginger. This was the capsaicin of ginger.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Are my analogies working today?
It's like if you put ginger in and were like, I want this to hurt, instead of putting ginger in being like, I want this to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not good. Pitch Black, not great, not bad.
Where did I put Pitch Black? I feel like Pitch Black was one that I was completely mid on. Oh, never mind. It was in D tier. Let's see. What does the notes have to say about this? I said that it was more grape purple, but still cough syrup compared to another purple flavor that we will talk about soon.
Yeah, it was cough syrup purple. I put in cough syrup but good, ? Like, it was cough syrup. I think I was mostly comparing it to the other purple we had, and so it got a 4.5. It was,
Yeah. A bit more of a sort of context to illustrate what happened on the day of, to further your theater of the mind understanding. We didn't really have palate cleansers. I really wish I had a bottle of water between flavors.
Yes.
Because there were some flavors we just kind of machine gunned, and I don't know how much that really affected my perception.
Yeah.
Towards the end, a lot of them were starting to blend together, and that could have just been fatigue.
Yeah, I have a lot of like 3.5 to 4.5s here, and I am kind of curious how much of that was just that like I didn't have anything to like really help reset my palate in between them.
Yeah, I would say like about the time of the 24th or the 20th soda, it started to be a little much. But Pitch Black, yeah, I also think that the cough syrup the cough syrup connection is more so negative because of childhood trauma. Not trauma, but like, you know, it's a connection we have because of things we didn't like in our childhood, in bad experiences.
It's like childhood Brussels sprouts, you know?
So maybe somebody who didn't have grape cough syrup might like it more than us.
Yeah. If you had that cherry cough syrup, you might associate cherry flavor with bad, and then grape syrup is better.
Right. Brain's fucked, yo. Brain's wild.
Regular zero sugar, by the way.
I have nothing to say about this.
It was 3.
It's diet. It fills the exact same place as regular because I treat them mostly the same. I'm more prone to drink diet Mountain Dew, but that's just because of my circumstances. As far as the individual flavor goes,
I have tried diet. Here's the problem. I don't like aspartame. I do not like aspartame, and aspartame is what is the sweetener in a lot of diet sodas. And for the longest time, I was always like, I don't know what it is. I guess I just liked sugar too much. And I've come to find that it's like, oh no, it's just that a really common sweetener literally tastes bad to me. It's like cilantro tasting like soap.
Right, or broccoli.
Yeah.
I have the broccoli gene.
I surprisingly don't. I actually really like a good roasted broccoli. Anyway.
Me and my dad have it, but the rest of our family does not.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fun fact, today's Brussels sprouts literally taste better than previous Brussels sprouts.
Fun fact, today's Brussels sprouts are brought to you by broccoli.
Broccoli, the better green thing.
It's like little trees. They're fractaline.
Whiteout.
Okay, this is what caused us to talk about the color theory.
Yes.
Because you said...
Whiteout tastes white. It literally, whiteout is super appropriate because it literally tastes like white.
Yeah, I gotta find my notes for whiteout here. I can explain this. I said that whiteout tastes like how I picture antifreeze tasting, but that also kind of is because of the marketing of it being whiteout. I picture this industrial liquid used for cleanliness.
It tastes static.
So, I think going back to the texture thing, whiteout has a thickness to it comparable to, corn syrup.
Yeah.
That other sodas don't have. Like, the corn syrup in regular soda is super thick and syrupy and kind of hard for me to swallow at times.
Yeah.
Diet soda tends for me to go down quicker or easier. It feels a lot more liquidy and a lot more loose. Closer to something like juice. Whiteout was in between, where it was somehow less thick than regular Mountain Dew, but more thick at the same time. And it's just a weird feeling. I think it felt more solid than what I usually expect, even though it wasn't coagulated.
Yeah. It's not good. I that's definitely the big, if I can impress anything here, Whiteout is, I think, one of the most robust bad sodas we had. I gave it a 3.5 because it's bad in a very interesting way.
Oh, I gave it a B.
Really?
I actually quite liked its flavor. I thought it was pretty sweet, pretty good for being pretty sweet. But it just, I think the thing that knocks it down is the texture.
It tastes like the absence of, it tastes like it's trying to erase flavor.
But I can understand that, and I don't want to gaslight you, but that feels like a marketing trick on the mind.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't want to gaslight you. I thought it tasted like Airhead's mystery flavor more than Voodoo.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We will. Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe Whiteout's when they had to switch the vats of Mountain Dew. Whatever Joker fell into, they had to switch that out, and they made Whiteout.
Oh, man. Marvel at the last episode of Net Surfer Pros, we fall out because of our Mountain Dew flavor differences.
Maui Burst, what can I say? You're not welcome. I did not drink this one.
It was also pineapple. It was less mid than the other, more pineapple-y, actually. It was 4.
Also, notably, this is when we get into the exclusives. This is a Dollar General exclusive.
Yes, this is a Dollar General exclusive, and you know what? It sure does fit at Dollar General, because I'm never going to drink it again.
Yeah, next is Overdrive from Casey's, the sort of convenience store gas station thing.
Famously, they have a mac and cheese pizza.
They have some pretty good pizza.
They do have,
honestly,
good gas station pizza.
Yeah, long road trips, getting just a slice of Casey's pizza, pretty filling.
Yeah, no, Casey's, I am somebody who doesn't like Quick Trip pizza. Casey's is what I want Quick Trip pizza to be.
For viewers, Quick Trip is a St. Louis-based chain of gas stations that is only in Missouri and a little bit of Illinois.
It is?
Yeah.
I thought it was at least Midwest.
No, I'm pretty sure it's just greater St. Louis area plus a little bit towards the outer, like Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, the parts where Missouri bleeds over to the neighboring states. I've seen one in Overland Park, Kansas.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
going
Overdrive. Back to Overdrive, it's another orange soda, maybe with like a hint of peach almost, is sort of what I detected there. I didn't think it was bad. Like I said, it was B.
It tasted like Vess orange soda to me.
Yeah, it's like it was a worse orange soda than Livewire.
Yeah, when I say Vess orange soda, Vess is a literal brand, but Vess is also a cheap brand. They are a budget soda brand, and so like to me when I tasted it, it just tasted like cheaper Livewire.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's Casey's again. You got real good pizza, but I'm sorry you don't have a better Mountain Dew flavor to me personally.
Yeah, so the next one is Uproar, which is from Food Lion, which is a grocery store chain that I'm pretty sure is not in St. Louis, as per the supermarket wars.
Yeah.
The St. Louis turf wars.
Yeah, we have the Schnooks family versus the
Dierberg family.
The Dierbergs family.
Yeah. Apparently, it's headquartered in North Carolina. It's found in 10 states, mainly in the mid-Atlantic and southeastern U.S., so along the East Coast.
It's sort of like a red kiwi. So like a kiwi flavor is usually kind of greenly associated, like lime green, which it's funny that I use a different fruit to.
Yeah.
But this one is a more red flavor, and honestly, like I liked it. It was real good to me.
Let's see. I put this in B. This is one that is also not bad. It was pretty good. The kiwi was very tingly, and I didn't really vibe with that aftertaste.
That's fair. I gave this one a 7.5. This one was pretty high up there for me. It might have followed a bad one. But yeah, I don't know. Like it definitely I think goes into the slice of like, because I can't get it, I probably value it a little more.
The forbidden fruit drink.
The forbidden fruit is kiwi.
Yeah, there's an idea for alluvium. Yeah, so that wasn't that funny.
I'm sorry.
So the next one is Gush and Granny.
Yeah, so Gush and Granny's pretty good.
So okay, it's Thrashed Apple. It's Kroger exclusive. Kroger, of course, being a grocery store that is not really found in St. Louis, as per the St. Louis grocery store turf wars.
Yes.
And
I believe Kroger is a little more south, sort of.
It's actually more general, I think. Like, I think if you go into rural Missouri, you will find Kroger's.
Oh, okay.
It's just St. Louis is weird. So, yeah, Thrashed Apple is the sour green apple. I don't know if it's the same one, but it's funny that it exists, and I put this in B. This is everything B and up is things that I think I had a pleasant time drinking a drink of. You know, this is stuff where it's not necessarily something I would go out of my way to buy, but I had a good time. I think a quick try was good. I don't know if I could handle a whole bottle though.
Yeah, so I typically am not a huge fan of sour apple flavor. Interestingly, this was green apple. To me, this was not sour at all. This was like it was very sweet and very powerful. I gave this one, I knocked this one down a point or two. This is a 4.5 for me because it was so much, and for those at home. I did the terrible, horrible, god-awful, no good, very bad thing of taking the last drop or so that I had of everything and putting it into its own cup.
The lunch table.
I mixed my own potion. I mixed my strongest potion. And for a very long time, the only smell of that entire thing was a later one that we'll talk about. It was a passion fruit one. this green apple, that drop that I put into it was enough to like go toe to toe with the passion fruit one.
It's the onion of Mountain Dew.
It was like, I can't say I had a bad time drinking it, but that little, like, there was enough flavor in the little cup that I got for an entire 12-ounce can. And so, yeah, it was too much.
Yeah. Next is Frostbite, Walmart exclusive. This one was pretty good. It's in a C because I felt like this was an inferior version of Voodoo.
Yeah.
It just felt less evocative. The flavor wasn't as strong. Now, another important caveat is that for some of these flavors, they were not in peak condition.
Yes.
Some of them had to be transported, especially the fast food flavors, which we're going to get to in a bit. Those had to be transported in like large bags, like cater style.
Yeah.
There were some that are old or imported, and thus those could have got a little flat. And I don't think the Frostbite was one of these. I don't know if the conditions were worse for it than the Voodoo that we had, but I just thought it was just worse than Voodoo.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to knock this one up to a 4. It was a 3.5. I think it was a 4. It had an actual bite to it, which was interesting.
Ah, I get it.
Yeah, like it literally was a frost bite. It like aptly named, but like it's the kind of thing where if I had a full soda of it, I don't think if every time I sip a soda, I want to be like, ugh. Like,
yeah,
you know, like I tolerate that when I drink like an alcoholic cider, you know, because it's like it has alcohol, it'll do things to my body, whatever. And so when I sink it and go drink it and go, like, you know, I just accept it. If I'm doing that to soda, that's not getting me fucked up. That's the only fucked up thing it's doing is to my kidneys. Like, no.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't awful. I could even be convinced to put it in B, but I just didn't like it as much as a lot of the other flavors like Voltage or Voodoo. They all kind of occupied a similar field of like cyan.
Yeah. Now, what did taste awful to me was Purple Thunder from Circle K.
Yeah, that's what it made me want to do out of my ass when I finished. No, Purple Thunder, not great. It is the plum flavor. I don't know why they did this. They got rid of Major Melon in Circle K so they could do this. And whenever I stop at Circle K, I look at Purple Thunder and I scowl.
Yeah, the appropriate reaction to seeing Purple Thunder, because that's a 3.5 for me. It is purple taste derogatory.
It's F, both for the flavor itself and the context behind it.
Yeah, the cultural significance of what it took from us.
It's just so bad. I don't like plum. I hate plum. That's a low tier fruit for me, Chief.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to take that. We're going to put in the purple Mountain Dew. I'm like, just give me the next one. The next one's Baja Blast. I am not a fan of Baja Blast. As I said, I put it in D.
I just want to say that the only plum I like is Professor Plum, because
he's base as hell.
Yeah, he is a Tumblr sexy man. I will not be taking questions. Baja Blast is pretty good to me.
Yeah, so I never liked Baja Blast. I don't even know what the flavor is, and maybe the act of not knowing is making me cower in fear, but it always tasted soapy to me.
That's fair. I will say that my note literally has the word plasticky.
Yeah.
Which I think was more the Baja Blast that we had at the time. Having recently gotten Baja Blast before this episode, I'm pretty firmly still on 7. I think this is an A tier for me. It is. I will admit, I do think this is hyped up because it was for a very long time one of the few actually exclusive flavors.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, I remember when this came out, it was huge that there was an exclusive Mountain Dew at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You had to go to Taco Bell to try it, you know.
And like, yeah, I think that definitely the cultural, I will even admit, yeah, I think the cultural significance of it sort of being the white whale that, like, you know, my parents already wouldn't really like me to have soda, and I wouldn't like Taco Bell, so I could rarely ever get it. But ooh, when I did, it had that like strange, like even more limey flavor to me.
That was like me with like Monster Energy.
Yeah,
the allure of it was more than the actual flavor of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
now that I can get it as an adult, I just sort of don't. But anytime any of my friends go to Taco Bell, I'm like, go ahead and get me a Baja Blast.
I feel like Baja Blast has sort of graduated, because like you can just get it in stores now.
Yeah.
There's boxes of it, and I feel like it's fitting that it has graduated, sort of setting its laurels aside, setting its medals on the rack, and just sort of, you know, being a normal flavor.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fitting.
Yeah. It's retired.
Yeah, it's retired, but it's not. It's still in
the opposite
production.
of retired, but like
that's why I say it's graduated. I don't know. I will say the other thing. This is a big thing where flavor, like soda consistency, matters.
Yeah.
Taco Bell soda for me, at least in the greater St. Louis area, is very watery and it is low fizz, but the carbonation does give it a sort of airiness. The way to put it is, it doesn't have the sting of carbonation, but it does have the like, it's less thick than regular soda usually is.
Yeah.
Which leads to it being really weird in Taco Bell's fountains, and I do wonder if the people who made it took into account the soda fountain itself.
Yeah.
Also, other thing that matters is how often they wash the nozzles of the soda fountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will never bemoan a Taco Bell employee. I will never bemoan any employee, but I will say that, like, you know, famously fast food has the cultural consciousness of, like, you know, people who don't really like clean a lot of their supplies a lot. And
look, when I worked at Dairy Queen, we were on top of that shit.
That's fair.
We cleaned our shit every night. The people working the front clean the nozzles every night, and at least one of the Taco Bells by my place does.
You know what? This is extremely fair. I grew up near the New Halls Ferry Strip, and I can at the very least tell you that, like, that one you kind of didn't.
You literally grew up near the worst fast food restaurants in the entire city.
I did. Okay, complete diversion. So when I was living down near Umsel, much closer to Umsel than I am now, I was living in Ferguson. Right by Ferguson. I had the worst pizza luck, specifically with Papa John's. It was like Papa John's would give you like 2 hours late. I would get a call after that 2 hours, be like, oh, hey, we're like out of something or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. I'm a zillennial. I can't really challenge you on this. And then it'd arrive another hour late, and it just like my roommate would order something 30 minutes, like 30 minutes, just fine, whatever. However, one of the few things that would kind of like help with this was Domino's down there. The Domino's down there would get to us pretty reasonably with good results. However, now I live back near Ferguson, and I live very near.
Dox yourself. Go on.
Near enough that the Domino's is my Domino's, so that's, you know, a mile radius that you can search to find me.
Sorry, your CSI agent is now typing furiously into a keyboard, like, all right, draw a perimeter around the Domino's. We got this son of a bitch.
Yeah, there's you know, 3 different windows that are sort of like being switched between, and it's like 2 people are typing on a keyboard at the same time. Anyway, it is the Domino's there sucks, and like. Again, no cap on the people working there. It's hard. It's a hard life. I'm not going to bemoan them. I am the, again, like anytime I get a really fucked up order, I just like say nothing. The most I will do is be like, can you just be like, send a, you know, free pizza to my email. I don't care about, I don't want to out you to Domino's HQ because I don't give a shit. However, I also want to say that the Pizza Hut near me has been on top of it consistently, and I've never regularly ordered Pizza Hut because it's always been one of the worst for me, but I live near a really good Pizza Hut now, so I'm not gonna say which Pizza Hut I'm near, but damn it, they're great. You have my heart, dear Pizza Hut near me. Sorry, what were we talking about again?
Okay, so the next one's garbage. Dirt piss water. Buffalo Wild Wings Legend. It tastes like Buffalo Wild Wings looks.
Yep.
Next one. No,
I
gave that a deep F.
2 for me. My only note was no, and honestly, it would probably be. I'm gonna change it to a 1.5, and I missed the funny joke you just made.
It's okay. Next we have Darkberry Blast from Applesby. Say it with me, Applesby.
Applesby.
I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah. Applebee's is a unfortunately a frequent restaurant that I like going to.
More like a freak of a restaurant. Every time I go there, I throw up.
That's fair.
Like, I'm counting on one hand the number of times I've gone to Applebee's, and then I'm removing fingers until I count how many I've thrown up, and I have a fist. Which is the amount of pain I inflict on myself by eating at Applebee's.
That's extremely fair.
That being said, I did give this a C because this was sort of one of the ones that just kind of fell into the land of berry.
Yeah.
I think so. The S tier is distinct. A tier is also distinct. B tier is good. C tier is like, again, I wouldn't really drink it if it was offered. If it was the only thing there. And I think it's just that, like, I don't know, it was too similar to the other dark flavors of, like, bitter flavors.
Yeah.
Even though it had a bit of the berry, it still had too much bitter.
So I have this one at a 6. I honestly consider this Darkberry Blast to be a better, like, if we are talking, like, same quality but just different type, I would consider this to be a better, like, Waluigi to the Mountain Dew Wario than, like, Code Red. Because, like, for me personally, the jump from Mountain Dew to Code Red is a leap. This I consider, like, this is the same type for me. This is the same thing, but this is just a different flavor palette. And you know what? Every time I go to Applebee's, I get it. I cannot tell you that I don't get it, because I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe put it up to B. I think I'm pretty happy with it being in C. The note I have for this is just berry. I don't know.
Yeah, like just because I like it doesn't mean you have to.
Another sort of way I framed this is if I were literally offered one can of everything on the table, but was told I could only pick one.
Yeah,
that sort of determined how I ranked these.
Yeah,
and it lost out to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Next is the Witch exclusive Vibe, which is just lemonade.
Yeah, it's lemonade.
It's worse lemonade than Spark. I think Spark tastes more like lemonade than Mountain Dew to me. Vibe tasted more like Mountain Dew than lemonade.
Yeah, I to quote Jello Apocalypse describing various lemonades, thoroughly boring to me. It was lemonade. It was a lemonade Mountain Dew, and it wasn't even a particularly good one to me. Like,
yeah,
it wasn't interesting. It was like their first draft that they then put in as a college thesis, and I'm like, no, do better. I expect better. Spark is better than this.
It feels like an insult to all the sandwich shops that have their own in-house lemonade.
Exactly.
Like Penn Station, like, you gotta look at Witch and be like, please, you're ruining it.
It's the equivalent of serving Minute Maid lemonade, It's just...
But it's worse than Minute Maid for me.
Yeah, I would rather have Minute Maid lemonade than this. 3.5, no thanks.
Next is Berry Monsoon from Sam's Club. Honestly, A tier.
That's fair. This was going against a couple of unshakable. We're about to get to this entire section of unshakable problems that I just sort of don't like a lot of different flavors, and one of that is cream soda. This is actually, again, little deep Galen lore here. This was something that I noticed when I was very young. My brother would love cream sodas, and I would try it, and I'd be like, this is too thick, too vanilla, too no thanks. Like, I just... I don't even know why. It's like I like vanilla. I like vanilla a lot. Literally, vanilla Coke is like my favorite form of Coke, but I don't know. This was a blue creamy vanilla-y soda, and like I gave it a 4 because I was just like, I can see why you like it, but it just contends with the fact that I don't like cream soda.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a cream soda with a bit of berry. Berries and cream. I like cream soda for the first 3 cans. The 4th can, I feel sick, and I don't mean in a row. I'm not slamming these one by one. I mean, like, if I were to have 1 can for, 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
1 can each day. On the 4th day, I would throw out the rest of the cream soda, because I just get sick of it very quickly, even though I like the first few, chances. That being said, this being a tasting event, I quite liked cream soda in this context because it's literally just a 1 sip.
Yeah.
And then, if I were to buy just a bottle of Berry's Monsoon from Sam's Club, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's like a good amount of soda for cream soda for me. And I think the berry was well executed on top of that. It reminded me of like a blue vanilla Tootsie Roll.
That's a very good way to describe it. I kind of want to use it as a mixer in something like I would mess with a root beer float of this, a
like
berry monsoon float.
Yeah,
like that feels like that might kind of give the context I need for it.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like a vodka in this.
Ooh, actually. That might, vanilla rum anyway.
So
let's get to the worst one.
Sweet Lightning. Okay, so this is hilarious to me. Yeah, there was a Munch Squad on this.
There was a Munch Squad on this. It's one of my favorite episodes of that Munch Squad because it's one of the wildest marketing campaigns that they've done.
Yeah, so, okay, for some context, Taco Bell and KFC are both owned by Yum Brands.
Yeah.
Yum Brands are bizarro fuckheads. They're weirdos. I say that sometimes affectionately, but they cannot be stopped. And what's really interesting to me is the way they market Taco Bell and KFC is completely opposite.
Yeah.
In that, especially in America, is Taco Bell is the progressive and KFC is the conservative. Yeah. I'm not fucking joking around.
You're so correct. Holy shit.
Like, this is how they present themselves. Taco Bell's like we smoke weed too.
Yeah.
Come get the weed meal here. And KFC is like, don't you hate it when people transition?
Yeah.
Come get a bucket of chicken.
It's
from grandma.
Like,
and it's
so like, yeah, Taco Bell. Here's the other thing too. Taco Bell works and KFC doesn't. There have been entire video essays about why KFC's marketing just kind of sucks. Like, KFC is like the KFC is like if the people who made the Burger King advertisements that use the King didn't like sort of recognize that the King is creepy. Like,
the King is sort of a response to Ronald McDonald.
Yes,
he exists as a foil to Ronald.
Yes,
a sort of dark Ronald.
And this is like he is the Waluigi to that Waluigi, and there's just no place for that.
So KFC is marketed pretty differently in different countries.
Yeah.
In America, it leans so hard in the Americana. It's like if the chicks, when faced with the controversy about being anti-Bush and anti-Iraq war, they became further conservative and were like the super Dixie chicks.exe.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? It feels like the wrong parts of Americana have become KFC. And it's really funny because sometimes I look at the finger licking good in the restaurant and it looks like it says fucking good. Yeah. But Sweet Lightning is what I mean. It is they took sweet iced tea, sweet tea, iced tea, sweet peach tea, sweet iced peach tea, iced sweet peach tea. They took this drink that has already been sort of bastardized from the original like home recipe while still trying to be sold as it's just like how grandma made it. I voted for Reagan. And then sold that, that's like what the brisk is.
It's
And then they took that and they put it with Mountain Dew, which, who is this for? It's not for me. I can tell you that much.
It's like the idea of like deep South sweet peach tea, like, Georgia sweet peach tea, like, that is a concept that, while I personally do not really like sweet tea all that much, I see the appeal. I have had that really, really deep, just, oh god, like, liquid gold peach tea kind of flavor, and gone, okay, I get this. If I was sipping this on a hot Georgia evening, with, looking out at the sunset with my dog on my porch, I get that. I get that. This is like, it's like fucking what you get in the dystopia, that like they would use that kind of imagery in their marketing, but like the taste of it is like this gross, sickly sweet, like pool water-esque thing, and like, some like, depressed guy with a trench coat in the rain is drinking it, as like the food bot is like, enjoy your Georgia peach tea.
This is what the guy in Black Mirror 6 Million Merits was drinking in his fucking yogurt pouch. This is the Capri Sun he was given in his Fahrenheit 451 TV room.
What if we made an episode, right? And there was soda, but you could only get specific sodas at restaurants. Wouldn't that be fucked up?
Be a little fucked up, innit? What if your soda was a robot? Robot sold you soda, but it didn't tell you what soda you wanted. You had to tell it what soda you wanted, but it wouldn't listen. Wouldn't that be kind of weird? Give you the wrong soda?
Sweet Lightning, I have nothing but bad words to say about it. It is the only one I have, and it deserves to be at the bottom.
Yeah, big F.Ds.
I can't even, there are... I would literally give more credence to the Buffalo Wild Wings one for being a fun bad than Sweet Lightning for being a fun bad. It's just bad.
I don't know. We had more to say about Sweet Lightning.
True. Fair enough.
I feel like Buffalo Wild Wings is a bad that I want to just cycle out of my system.
You know what? Actually, yeah. Let me transpose both of those, actually. Sweet Lightning is the kind of bad that is very fun to hate. Legend was a bad that I, drank once and went, no.
Yeah, it's It's the difference between, I don't know, The Room and Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, exactly.
Next is the Strawberry Goji Citrus, and I quite like this. I like strawberry.
Yeah. This was a 6 for me. Again, that is on the good curve. That is like the the high B, low A tier. I liked it. I liked this.
It's a B for me.
If somebody asked if I wanted a can of this, I would be like, yeah, I haven't had this in a while. This sounds great.
Next is Passion Fruit Frenzy from New Zealand.
Yeah.
This is really low.
Yeah, this was a 4 for me, and I might knock this one down to a 3.
Okay, this one is a D and not an F for me. I might knock it down to an F, but I think it's at least interesting.
Yeah, if somebody asked if somebody handed this to me, I'd be like, oh god, I haven't had this in a long time, and I need to remember why. It is thick. It is flavorful. It tastes like what it wants to taste like, I guess. It is this is like I mentioned earlier, this is the one that for the longest time my strongest potion just tasted like this.
Yeah,
cuz it was it's like drinking orange juice.
This it's it had this lavender sort of feel to it. It's kind of fuzzy. It's like Bath and Body Works.
Yeah.
It tasted like Bath and Body Works. Not that I drink shampoo, but it had this really weird feeling that I can only charitably assume is cultural divide. But it's one where it's enough of a riddle that if somebody kind of nudged it at me, I would take a few more drinks and be like, that is weird. But I can't pin down why, and I dislike it, but not enough to spit it out, So, yeah. It's a mystery box.
If
it's
I may...
Lost.
Yeah. I feel like So I don't know what life is like in New Zealand in general. I actually have family in New Zealand, fun fact. But like in my mind, soda is like a whole ass drink here in America, in the United States. Whereas I feel like soda is more like, a treat. Soda is more, it's something you sip for a little while, It's like, ooh, I'm gonna treat myself here. And so like maybe in that context where it's not, oh, I'm going to, drink this bottle of soda while I'm driving or whatever. It's like, ooh, I fancy sort of, a nice special little thing. It's like, I could definitely see it in that context of like, yeah, this is, it's very thick. It's very, it's something that you would have once, 4 times a week. That sort of thing. 3 times a week. Anyway.
Now, what's also worth noting is that different countries have different health boards.
Yes.
Especially the EU, which New Zealand is not. But, but America has famously pretty bad regulation when it comes to things like soft drinks and sweets and whatnot. So, like, the actual formula behind the drink itself is going to be different from different foreign locations.
I wouldn't be surprised if this had actual passion fruit in it, basically.
Yeah, that too. I've never really had passion fruit. I've listened to Passion Pit, and they're pretty good.
I've heard people passionately... I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to continue this joke.
I can be fruity. I can
passionately
say it.
Be fruity.
I can say it. You can say it.
I can say it. No, I was thinking of a different joke, but I like I like this. I've heard people be fruits passionately.
I want to skip the next one. I want to save the best for last.
That's fair. That's fair.
So next we have Supernova from Finland, which is not Supernova from America.
Yes.
I'm going to perhaps insult our Finnish and Swedish listeners, but this tasted like Swedish fish to me.
That's yeah.
Like I was sitting on it and I was kind of just standing in the corner of the shop and I was like, what does this remind me of? Oh, and then it all clicked into place. Just Legos towering up, like it all made sense.
This was your second one. This was the first one I had, and honestly, I think it was a very good one to start off with. It was like cherry, it was lemony, it was
kind of tart.
Yeah, tart.
It was pulpy, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Which must mean that's why I bring up the difference in health boards.
Yeah.
Like that must mean there was some real juice in it.
This one was a solid 6.5, like a solid A tier, I believe.
This was the first in A tier for me.
Yeah. It was honestly, really, again, I want this one again. I want to have this one again at some point in my life. I can't say that about some of the, like, 4s and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to have this one. So any of our Finnish fans out there...
Our Finns. Yeah, this is one where I wouldn't mind trying it again, but I don't think I'd want to have it regularly. I'm not ready to commit to that.
Yeah.
Because, like I had with cream soda, there's a difference, I think, between having a soda every now and then and having it regularly.
Yeah.
Being a caffeine addict, as I am, that has changed my appreciation or relationship with some sodas. And so, like I said, like, having this every day, I don't think I could. But as a one-time exclusive treat, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Next is discontinued flavor cherry citrus. No idea how he got this.
Yeah.
Must have, like, gotten some Shengang Wu or something to open a portal.
Yeah.
That's my poll for today. Shouts out. But yeah, this was good. I have this in sort of near the bottom of S. I think this and Goji strawberry citrus can go back and forth.
Yeah.
They're very similar in that they're sweet, a bit more complex red fruit punch flavors, which I am a sucker for.
Yeah, this was a sour red, and I quite enjoyed it.
Yep.
Sour red citrus, this was 7. I would also put this probably bottom of S tier. And so, I really liked this one. Continue it again, please.
Next was Typhoon. I don't think this is the original run of Typhoon.
It can't be.
It was too carbonated. I think they brought it back at some point, and that's what this Typhoon is. And let me just pull up my note on Typhoon here, because it's very insightful. It tastes like Sonic Heroes. It got into my nose, by the way.
Nice.
There were some that the carbonation was so strong that it kind of got into my nose, like a bubble popped and it just went. Yep.
Oh man.
There was one that you compared to pool water.
That was Sweet Lightning.
That was Sweet Lightning, and that was a similar one where it got into my nose. Now, okay, I do have to say Sweet Lightning and Legend, the B-Dubs one, were the ones that were the most flat in room temperature because those had to be transported in a weird catering bag.
True.
Probably just straight from the fountain.
Yeah. I
will give those a little bit of credence, but I also will not.
I will give them credence in that we did not drink them in their best state.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that they would be much higher in their best state.
I feel like they are like a game that only gets good in like the 10th hour.
Yeah.
And you're talking to somebody who played it for 5 hours and stopped.
Yeah.
Like, bro, no, you have to go to B-Dubs and then get Legend. And it's like, or I could like get just something else, like a Diet Coke.
I could just
have water.
Yeah, you need to go to a
not that
Buffalo
bad.
Wild Wings. I'd rather go to a Hooters, actually, and I don't want to go to one of those.
I mean, I'd rather go to Wingstop, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we don't have a Wingstop here, and there isn't one there, actually. I'm sorry to tell you, we're not going there.
We're not going to Wingstop? Yeah, Typhoon, I don't understand. It's sort of a fruit punch flavor. It's another one that just feels sort of like a fruit medley where nothing really stands out, but also I don't know what's
subtle.
even in there.
It was pink. It was pink.
It
Like a lot of these are ones that are like, this just can be only described as blue, and this is the only one. This was the only 5 I gave. It tasted like pink to me, and like I wouldn't say no. I would. This one's definitely like B, maybe C. But like I had a good time I had a good time drinking it.
So a lot of energy drink flavors to me taste like some people in the flavor lab had like character creation sliders for a bunch of different flavors.
Yeah.
And they just kind of randomly moved them around until they got something that was so far away from an existing flavor.
Yeah.
Like Monster Factorying it. And this is what Typhoon felt like. It felt like they were like, we want to make a flavor that doesn't taste like any one fruit flavor, and it doesn't taste like an existing Mountain Dew. So we're just gonna manage it. We're just gonna turn some knobs.
This is a flavor that could have been made by an AI.
Yeah.
This is an AI generated flavor where you put in the command line, make me a flavor that's just sort of kind of different from Mountain Dew, but also sort of kind of different from berry flavors.
There is an episode of Arthur where it's like go to your parents' work day, and they all go to the ice cream parlor, and they have this big giant ice cream machine that blends a bunch of different ingredients together, and they throw in the worst shit. Like, they have some good things like bananas and blueberries, but then they throw in like gummy worms and almonds, all of these going into one flavor.
Yeah.
These aren't toppings, these are flavors. I feel like this is what they made in that episode.
Oh man, that's a good way of describing it.
We have apple, strawberry, banana, and orange. Yeah. Okay, so we saved the best for last. This one was high up on, Typhoon I had as, I had it on A, interestingly. That's the weird thing, is I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it. And it was interesting enough that I wanted to drink it more.
Yeah.
Like Monster Energy.
Yeah.
It falls into the Monster Energy tier of, like, surprise. That's my capsaicin, is Monster Energy and weird fucking flavors.
My brother drank, my brother had to drive me to high school for my freshman and sophomore year, and he drank Monster Energy, and so I ended up just kind of drinking a lot of Monster Energy as well. Usually a sip here, a sip there, and red Monster Energy is one where I would never call it a good drink, but if I were ever to have to get a Monster Energy, I'd be like, I want to try that red one again, though.
That's how I am with the Blue Monster Energy. It's like I viewed energy drinks as maturity the same way I did 4chan.
Yeah.
But like also, I don't know. It's like the weirdness of some of the flavors of energy drinks was, like I said, in a way similar to the feel people have towards hot foods with like high capsaicin.
Yeah.
Like Da Bomb.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the bomb, but it was like Da Bomb in that it was sort of a test of endurance.
Yeah.
And sometimes some soda is like that, but less caffeinated and does not make me crash, 3 hours later.
Yeah.
It does not make me go Giga Robo. So yeah, that's sort of where Typhoon lies. Okay.
So yeah,
we're
speaking of
2
Blue-
hours into this fuck fest.
And if you've been sticking with us so far, we're going to spoil for you that the best flavor of all Mountain Dews.
It's still Diet Supernova, come on. But second best is
Blue Shock from Malaysia.
Malaysia, you done did it, you magnificent people.
Malaysia, we love you, we respect you. I don't know a thing about Malaysia except that you have probably my favorite Mountain Dew flavor now. Second favorite maybe, because Code Red is still it's neck and neck for me.
This is the highest of S tier for me from this tasting experience. It's like a blue cotton candy, which I didn't know I needed in a soda.
Yeah.
But now I want it.
To immediately echo back to what I said at the start of all of this, my favorite Mountain Dew flavors are both too much and I want to keep drinking them. That's why I love Code Red, is it's too damn much, but I want to keep drinking it. And this is the exact same thing where I drank it and I was like, this is so much and I want more.
See, this is what I respect of Mountain Dew, is they feel way more experimental than other soda brands.
Yeah.
Like when like Sprite releases a new flavor, it's like you get it, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I see. But when Mountain Dew has a flavor, it's like, huh? Are you okay there?
Mountain Dew is willing to take risks.
Yeah.
And, clearly it doesn't always work out. There's a lot of, 3.5 to 4.5 on this list. But, man, they did it.
They're... Okay, one of my last allegories, not anagrams, analogies of the night. Mountain Dew is like Sega.
Yep. Yeah.
I will not elaborate further. You understand or you don't, and that's okay. But I kind of love it in much of the same way I love Sega.
Yeah. Mountain Dew, you are attached to a terrible system, but the flavor experts there, damn it, they're trying things.
Okay, again, soda is addictive. It's not great. It is ultimately something peddled by marketing in the same way cigarettes were and still are.
Yeah.
But it tastes neat.
Yeah.
I drink.
It.
I am a human of vices. I am an addictive personality, which means people love to be around me.
Yeah.
No, it means that if it wasn't this, it would be something worse, maybe. I don't know.
Look, we as a nation need to have restrictions on sodas the same way we have restrictions on
beer.
Yeah, beer, on cigarettes, but we don't, and that sucks. But while we don't, and while that sucks, while we have to live in the age where everybody is addicted to fucking sugar, damn it, I'm going to drink the best sugar there is.
I told you to stop fucking sugar. It's not good for you.
Look, I know, I'm sorry, but
it's also, you can't use that sugar anymore.
Well, that's for you. I mean, as long as I'm not feeding it to anyone else. I mean, sorry.
Are you anyone else? Anyone else than who? Yeah, we as critics are allowed to criticize things that are ultimately meaningless in terms of artistic merit.
Yeah.
I do think Mountain Dew sometimes has artistic merit, as much artistic merit as a soda brand can have, which is to say that they have more than most other soda brands.
Yeah.
There's a sort of I'm trying to preface this because I feel like I have to justify making this episode and going so in-depth about Mountain Dew, even though I know I don't have to justify it to anyone. It is obviously very key to the gaming ecosystem, as we described in the first half.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew is a weirdly interwoven brand in the same way like Red Bull is in all of these sorts of testosterone, like I said, like middle teenage boys things, and the changing climate and landscape, literally and figuratively, in terms of people and communities and markets, means that all of these brands are in sort of a weird spot.
Yeah.
But like they got there of their own accord, of their own digging.
This is a hell of their own making.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, like what comes to my mind is like the most recent Mountain Dew ad I've seen is like five bros playing a game, and they're all like, dude, who's this like fucking guy that keeps killing all of us? And then like she pops in and it's like, sorry boys, like it, and it's like it's that wonderful in heavy air quotes here, like sort of, you know, it's trying to have its cake and eat it too, where it's like it's still the testosterone-fueled gamer sort of thing, but for the modern age, because a girl is playing. The Legend 27.
We didn't even talk about all the weird commercials. There was Puppy Monkey Baby.
Yeah.
Which was like the PS3 baby all over again.
Yeah, fucking...
We didn't talk about the horny gender bending one.
Again, the
that
Legend
certainly had no impact on me.
Yeah. No one. That was not an awakening for anyone here.
Mountain Dew is weird because in a world where brands have to be safe, they are not, and it has succeeded for them, and it has also affected culture in weird ways.
Yeah.
Like culture as it is, especially on the internet, would not be the same as it is today if Mountain Dew was removed. And I would not be the same as I was today if I did not drink both Malaysian Blue Shock and Legend from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes. It's there are, in capitalism, we're all just trying to get by and have a little fun with our lives as we sacrifice ourselves to the machine. And you know what? The people who do weird Mountain Dew flavors, they're having fun. And
yeah,
the machine around them is terrible. The circumstances are god awful. But damn it, I have had a huge laugh making up wild scenarios about what Peach Lightning reminds us of, and I've also found a new favorite flavor of Mountain Dew, as well as realized that yes, I do just like Code Red a lot.
So again, this literally started because we were leaving the Mountain Dew tasting experience, and I was like, yeah, we should just do an episode on this. It's free content.
Yeah.
And so ultimately this is a lot of backwards justifying for what was a spur of the moment decision, but I do think we ended up finding some pretty interesting conversational topics.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat. If anything, it is definitely a way to kick off the year.
Yeah. This was like, while this is just a little bit of like justifying the event we just went to, I am more than willing to also say that like this is possibly, I think, one of my favorite episodes we've done. It's unique. It's like, you know, it's about something that is both very important to us and the internet, but is also just really fun to talk about. Wild, weird flavors are just fun to talk about.
And gamer branding.
Yeah, gamer branding is usually more fun to talk about than to like really sit and think about. But like,
and everyone who listened to this just for the reviews, I hope you enjoyed all the stuff that wasn't us just reviewing the flavors.
Yeah. I assume you'll have to add a timestamp that's like actual. Yeah.
Let's Get Cracking begins here. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on social media at NetSurferPro, where we post teasers and comments updating you on our upcoming episodes, as well as links to the episodes proper. You can follow us on any podcasting platform you want, things like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, a lot of things that just have podcast in the name, where you can, get it notified when our new episodes go live, listen to them immediately, give us a like, give us a rating, give us a review, let us know how we're doing, let us know if there's any topics you think we should cover, or otherwise just check out in our own time. You can follow me on Twitter at Twackaroo, TWAKAROO. And I believe on Tumblr under the same username, where I post my hot takes about Rivals and Rivals Twitter and complain about gamers sometimes and also just post weird things. I've recently started posting a few pretty good cryptic clues I've come up with. So if you're into that sort of thing, check that out. And I also stream on twitch.tv/twack, where I stream a mixture of things, including competitive games, roguelites, some single-player games. Currently, by the time this comes out, I'll be playing Hi-Fi Rush, and I'll probably be starting Pikmin 2 pretty soon. And I also play a lot of Hitman, especially with Freelancer mode, and I've been playing through every Humongous Entertainment point-and-click adventure game in release order.
The previous Humongous Mondays have been really, really good, so please check them out. As for myself, you can find me at Twitter and at TikTok at Galen Wilson. That's at GALENWILS0N. I get really angry on Twitter, and I make funny jokes on TikTok, as well as I'm trying to make more sort of talking about basically mini video essays on TikTok. So if that sounds interesting, please check it out. You can find me on YouTube at The Only Galen on YouTube. You can find me at Twitch at twitch.tv/machinegunvampire. And you can find me on Tumblr at galenwilson.tumblr.com. That's no zero on the ON there. Basically, just, follow me wherever you want. Tumblr is probably more my long-form thought things, as well as just me being silly goofy. So, just do whatever you like, I guess. But
do whatever you like.
And I'd like to congratulate both of us
for not making the Homestar Runner reference at all this episode.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
I was so surprised that we didn't say Mountain-Dwa,
which tastes like Dwa Dwa.
Yeah, don't mind if I Dwa.
Also, I'm gonna go and say we're gonna have a week break before our next episode because I'm gonna be busy and this is very long.
Yeah. So please enjoy your day.
And or do not.